started brilliantly with Adrian McAdam kicking 3 of their first 4 goals. By half-time, the Roos had a commanding 41-point lead and ended up winning by 83. McAdam finished with 9. Sandy Roberts reports.
The top 2 teams on the ladder started the game like a grand final before the opening bounce.
Oh, it's on too.
But 2 free kicks against Mick Gafer for holding resulted in 2 goals to the Roos' Adrian McAdam.
That looks like a goal, yes.
In fact, 16 minutes elapsed before Rowe broke through for the Pies.
Big kick.
Gafer's game was becoming a nightmare. McAdam, 3 free kicks, 3 goals to quarter time. And when Ashenko tapped to Schwass, the Roos were looking $1 million as they led by 33 points.
Not a bad effort.
Skipper Wayne Carey increased that margin with 2 goals in 3 minutes, and at half-time, the Pies were looking down the barrel. John Lallmeyer celebrated his 100th game. A fine market goal stretched the lead to 48 points. Gavin Brown's fitness was questioned, but his strength and skill certainly weren't. Just before three-quarter time, the question was how to stop McAdam.
Over the McAdam, goal number 6, Adrian McAdam.
Come the last quarter, and no one had the answer as he notched his 7th. The Pies were run ragged. North underlined they're no flash in the pan, but an early flag favourite. And just to complete the day, McAdam finished with 9. The Roos romping home by 83 points. Sandy Roberts, 7 Nightly News.
Hawthorn produced what was probably its best performance of the year by easily beating Footscray at the Western Oval. With Platten in sensational form around the ground and Dunstall kicking 8 goals, the Hawks ran out 70-point winners.
Hawthorn's record at the Western Oval was unimpressive, but running with a gale in the opening term, the Hawks looked dangerous, especially Paul Hudson. He had 3 by the first change, and when Shane Crawford goaled on the run, Hawthorn was in front by 20 points.
A Rovers goal.
Chris Grant tried to lift Footscray, but soon after a cruel blow for the Dogs, losing Crediuk with a hamstring injury. Delray's snap just before quarter time was crucial. There was at least a 5-goal breeze, and the Doggies went to work in the second quarter, with Reynolds goaling from just on the centre square. But 2 quick goals from Dunstall had Hawthorn in control and ahead by 27 points, although Footscray came back late in the term, cutting the Hawks' advantage to 16 points. And the Hawks made a dynamic start to the third term. Watch this slice of magic from Dunstall.
Shrugs the tackle with the left foot. Now that is play of the year.
Hawthorn kicked the first 5 goals of the term. Platten snapped a gem, and he let Dougie Hawkins know it. But the Dogs didn't succumb. Delray's pick-up and execution superb. But 2 goals just before three-quarter time to Andy Collins was a critical blow to Footscray. And Dunstall continued to frustrate Tony Campbell in the final quarter. A sensational display from the Hawks spearhead. With Platten, they proved more than a handful for Footscray.
And in today's thriller, St Kilda lost its 5th match on the trot when pipped by the Eagles at Waverley Park. There was nothing in the match all afternoon, although a bad miss with a couple of minutes to go by Stewie Lowe put paid to the Saints' chances. Neil Brooks has the highlights.
Kicking into a strong breeze, the Eagles had the early run. Peter Wilson with the first major.
He runs inside now, Wilson. Goes long, it's accurate.
But then the Saints replied, Tony Lockett using his string.
Start. Lockett's first touch and a mark.
Plugger booted 3 in the first term. They were all carbon copies of the first.
He shouldn't miss, and he hasn't.
The Eagles kicked their second late in the first term, and the defending premiers trailed by 7 points at the first break. The second quarter was a hard-fought affair. Goals at a premium. In fact, there was only 1 scored, that by Stuart Lowe.
Lowe, that's a great kick into the breeze.
Although the Eagles were goalless for the second period, they trailed by just 8 points at the main break. The second half was like a title fight, and Plugger dealt the first blow.
Well, he's too big, too strong.
But Brett Hetty was about to lift for the Eagles, kicking 2 in as many minutes.
Doesn't make any mistake with those. The Eagles hit the front.
The Eagles had a 2-point lead going into the final term, and it was up for grabs. Lockett kept the Saints in the hunt. Stewie Lowe had a chance to bury the reigning champs. He was awarded a 50-metre penalty with just 2 minutes to play. He missed. The Eagles home by 2 points. Neil Brooks, 7 Nightly News.
Richmond continued the Swans' miserable season with a 29-point victory at the MCG. The Tigers led at every change, although the Swans battled it right out to the end. Richmond skipper Jeff Hogg booted 7. And at Princes Park, Carlton was far too good for Melbourne. The Blues peppered the goals all day to run away with a 54-point win. Spalding kicked 4 goals for the victors, while Steins was reported for striking Justin Madden. Matthew Brooks reports.
There were plenty of scores to settle, but not much scoring in a torrid first term. Carlton had plenty of possession thanks to a busy Greg Williams, but the Blues struggled to convert it into points. Melbourne seized the few opportunities they had, Djakovic giving them an early lead. But Carlton surged back, a flurry of goals seeing them up by 10 at the first break. The second term was all Carlton, Spalding snapping truly to extend the lead. Kernahan was proving a headache up forward, and Williams was showing great vision as the Blues skipped away. The Demons rarely threatened, barely venturing past their half-forward line, Carlton by 28 at half-time. The Blues continued to fly high in the third quarter, taking a series of strong marks. They were relentless in defence as well as attack, restricting Melbourne to 3 scoring kicks for the term. Although Djakovic did make a late bid for Socceroos selection. To their credit, the Demons showed plenty of spirit in the final quarter, but the result was never in doubt. Carlton by 54 points.
To the ladder, and who would have thought that at the halfway stage of the season the Roos would be comfortably leading the way. The Hawks have vaulted to second, then comes the Eagles, Collingwood, Essendon and Fitzroy. The Saints have slumped to 13th. And in the VFA, Werribee thumped Preston by 10 goals. After the break, more sport.